All right, Drake Riggs here for South China Morning Post MMA with Gabriel Gonzalez, Cageside Press. We are here, the Hall of Fame, red carpet, green carpet actually. Gabriel, we just talked to plenty of legends in the sports. John Jones, GSP, standout, of course, Kevin Randall was getting inducted. A lot of great stuff going on today. What was your biggest takeaway from everybody that we just spoke to?
George St. Pierre, start to finish. I mean, it's just he's always been a tough guy to reach. He's always been one of the biggest superstars for a decade, right? So anytime you get to see him, and now obviously, you know, he's doing all these new chapters in his life. He's commentating, he's doing the acting. He's still just around the sport and training, and you know, he loves it. So just to see him and just how he's doing is always refreshing. And I think he had a good take on everything, you know, like Nick Diaz, Habib, retirement. I mean, it was just fun to hear his thoughts because he's one of those voices. It's like, no, really, like, what do you think of what's going on right now, George?
Definitely, and you know, I thought it was interesting how with John, he just seems very happy. You know, we're at a Hall of Fame thing and very special for him, but like considering the position he's in right now, which is kind of weird, and I don't know, I didn't really get a sense from him that we are very close, and we did ask him about that, but I don't know.
How close with your hands? Like, yeah. John, I don't need a number. I just like here, there. That's all I asked him. Like that's very vague if you ask me. Like. That would say a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And so with him being here, though, do you think they'll make some traction with Dana?
You know, I do believe so. The impression I got is that Dana has drawn the line in the sand, and it's like, look, you know, we tried to make it, didn't happen, we moved on. Francis, Cyril, all this stuff that I do think that now there's a plan in place that says, hey, John, this is what's happening. After that, we will revisit this conversation, and either, once again, a deal will be done or it won't. But I think both sides have already said, I'm okay sitting out, and with UFC, we're okay moving on. So it just really depends on what is new brought to the table behind closed doors.
Yeah, going to be interesting, and the show must go on, as you alluded to right there. But, Gabriel, before the Hall of Fame stuff we're doing right now, we did have the press conference for UFC 266, which is this Saturday night. Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega, featherweight title fight in the main event. Of course, flyweight title as well. Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler, too. What stood out the most from that? It wasn't, super eventful compared to, maybe the past couple, but still, I thought it was pretty interesting in some areas. You tell me what stood out to you first.
I mean, just Alex and Brian, like, they're still going at it. I think for me, that's a lot of fun. I think that when you get to that level where they're at right now, it's either going to be like Usman Covington, like for Kamaru, and you just have this huge triumph. Or imagine this is a one-round fight, and after all this talk, it just feels like Aldo McGregor is just this huge letdown, and it's like, there's only one way it could go. There's only two ways it could go at this point, and you hope it lives up to the talk. But when you have two high-level guys like that, it could be a war, or they're so good, one of them just capitalizes on that mistake and gets the finish.
Absolutely. I really liked Lauren Murphy's kind of attitude a little bit. I mean, I think it's just her, honestly. She's not faking or doing anything like that. But I was anticipating Valentina to maybe fire back a little bit. Didn't bite. Also very confident, as always. But I thought that was interesting. I mean, what'd you make of Lauren Murphy kind of, telling the people, hey, I don't care what you think. I'm here.
Exactly. I think people are already saying that essentially that, oh, you know what? I know most of you guys think I'm going to lose. It's Valentina. She's making sure she's winning the fight before the fight. She's not letting that mentally get to her. Will that pay off in the cage? I don't know. But I will also give Valentina credit. She's done this song and dance so many times. It's like, oh, yes, I've never seen anything like you before. You're going to be so tough. You're going to do these things that no one else was able to do. At the end of the day, it begins and ends with what Valentina shows up, because when she's on, she lives in a world that very few people inhabit out there in the cage.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And then, of course, with Nick Diaz coming back and Robbie Lawler, Robbie's just not a guy with much to say in general. And Nick, I thought, he said maybe a little bit more than maybe Nate does, at least last time out, but still not a whole lot. But he didn't seem like bothered up there or, awkward or anything. What do you make of those guys?
What I like about Robbie, you know what? He stays on brand. He's not going to be bothered. I think that Ben Askren said, trash talk doesn't work on Robbie Lawler. And that is very true. And then when you talk about Nick, Nick is a different brand, but it's still macaroni, right? He's not there to sell or create friction. He's there to say what's on his mind. If what's on his mind is he thinks he's better than Kamaru Usman, he said it. If he's not really, as I asked him, like, this is the people's main event, is that exciting? Yeah.
That was great.
That's okay. What more needs to be said? That's Nick Diaz, and that's why people love him.
Absolutely. So that is UFC 266 coming up this Saturday night, you guys, and the Hall of Fame ceremony about to begin here. So don't forget, stay glued to South China Morning Post for all your UFC 266 coverage, and check out Cageside Press as well, and Gabriel Gonzalez, you guys. We'll see you next time.